This is
the Abyssinians.
The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is
the lion's voice.
They had no fear at all. It was Ethiopian, it was God, let him be praised. Ethiopian, it was God, let him be praised.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it's Exodus. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use yet an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega, representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to Lion Voice, because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here, hear me now. Yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice. Them could never conquer the mountains, thousands of years and counting. Ethiopia rise again unto the world, now we are announcing. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Well, them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. Rastafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youths them fi build up them countries.
Well, for unto us a son was born and a child was given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called the Wonderful Counselor, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Them call him Christopher when he was born, rain fall from sky. Them call him Christopher when he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Christopher lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him
Rastafari, read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then, born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England or Cote d'Ivoire, no matter if you're brown or black like Qatar. Haile Selassie say fi end all tribal war. A time fi gather Mount Zion, fi drive solar car from the car straight to Zanzibar. Who we are, the sons of Rastafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Rastafari, when he was grown in airplanes he fly. Rastafari, the lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Rastafari, we do everything.
iRoots Records, an online shop for reggae and dub vinyl, CDs and Rastafari books. Rastafari owned and operated for over 15 years. We ship worldwide. We have many titles from frontline publications in stock. We have 50 plus Akabeka Midnight titles, which we believe is the most of any shop in the world. Special invite for the Lion Pride. Use code Lion's Voice and save 10% store-wide. If you spend $125 or more, the discount goes up to 15%. Visit us online at www.irootsrecords.com. The time has come.
321 Productions and RBG Alliance presents the 3rd annual Conscious Reggae Concert Family Unity Fest, featuring the Abyssinians, Aisha Bell, Mary Isaacs, Ragalux, I Brave, and many more at the Jammings in New Kingston. 2,500 pre-sold, 3,000 at the door. Children under 12 for free. Don't miss the Abyssinians live in Kingston, Jamaica. Can't be missed. History.
In the haunting echoes of violence against women in St. Anne, Jamaica, a mysterious vigilante emerges. For the Woman Painted Purple unfurls a gripping narrative of empowerment, retribution, and the pursuit of justice. Brenda and her group sisters bond together in therapy over their common struggles, but soon their group becomes the subject of an investigation. As the vigilante's actions escalate, the relentless detective, Officer Woodley, races to unmask the mystifying figure. For the Woman Painted Purple is a pulse-pounding tale that explores the boundaries of justice, revenge, and the fighting spirit. This thrilling saga delves into the complexities of dealing with mental health, domestic abuse, and finding love after. Own your copy today. Visit www.devanigreen.com.
This is The Black Heart Man, Rastafari children's picture book, with hand-painted illustrations and rhythmic storytelling. This is a journey you do not want to miss. We offer worldwide shipping, so order your copy today at www.thegriotspaintbrush.com. Alternatively, you can order your copy from TikTok. If you are interested in stocking the book, please email us at thegriospaintbrush@gmail.com. Give thanks.
Jamaica to Toronto. The Rastafest movement rises again. This August 15 and 16, Rastafest 2026 returns to Little Jamaica in Toronto with reggae music, Rastafari culture, Ital food, arts, reasoning, and unity. But this year, it's more than a festival. Rastafest is partnering with the Rastafari Mansions and organizations to support the Relief, Rebuild, Rise initiative, helping Rastafari families and communities rebuild, resist the risk of disasters, and to rise to their true potential. This is culture with a cause. Full joy the music, support the mission. Donate to the Relief, Rebuild, Rise GoFundMe through the link in the RMO Jamaica Instagram profile. Rastafari.
Save the date. Join us on Sunday, August 9th, 2026 at 5 p.m. for the 25th annual fundraiser for the Shashamane Foundation at the Silver Spring Civic Center, Great Buffalo Hall in Silver Spring, Maryland. Come be a part of an evening that helps transform lives by supporting quality education and sustainable development at the JRDC School in Shashamane, Ethiopia. Your presence and generosity help empower children, strengthen communities, and build a brighter future. Can't attend? You can still make a difference by donating at shashamani.org or by scanning the event QR code. Mark your calendar, bring your family and friends, and let's build a lasting legacy together. We'll see you there. Rastafari TV and Site Media are proud sponsors of the Shashamani Foundation.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chasmach Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Talk Live, special pop-up edition of Lion Talk Live. Tonight we go full E.W.F, Ethiopian World Federation. I've been very clear that I am a dues-paying member of the E.W.F, Local 12, proud, and tomorrow is one of the biggest dates in the E.W.F calendar, constitutionally mandated. The annual convention is upon us, and I will be there. And we are welcoming tonight some of the organizers of the convention. So we're going to go deep into the EWF history, why the convention, what happens at a convention, the purpose of the convention, who is the keynote, why is that the keynote. We're going to touch all of it tonight to educate the family. As we are talking, the bombing has resumed in the Middle East. So the Straits of Hormuz closed. If you're watching for the first time, we like to give updates here because we predicted on this channel long before what's happening in the Middle East. We said it was going to happen correctly. We also said it would be a long war. We also said the global Rastafari and Pan-African family needed to prepare. Embedded in the EWF Constitution is the call to action that Black peoples of the world carve a place for themselves under the sun, and also to save themselves from annihilation. We're going to get into the Constitution because the Constitution was ratified by His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. So this is one of the living monuments we have to Haile Selassie's Pan-African work, you know what I mean? Because anytime the detractors say that His Majesty sold out or never pay no attention to Black people or, you know, these kind of things, we always have the EWF as a living evidence and as a lawgiver in true fashion. It's in writing. There is a legal document, a constitution. It is active around the world. So His Majesty made sure to put his imprint. And uniquely, you know, in the Constitution, it states that it's for the Black peoples of the world. So a lot of people are quoting His Majesty when he says, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes. And they are misconstruing this to say that His Majesty is advocating for cultural and ethnic erasure. No, Black people still have to have institutions that govern their affairs. Why? Because when we don't do it, we see the result. We see, you know, being naive and just thinking it's a happy-go-lucky, kind of vibration, who ends up at the bottom of the equation, who's being poisoned, who's being programmed with garbage. It's I and I. So we as the black peoples of the world have to uniquely take care of our affairs, and this is why I built this platform, was to feed that Pan-African root of Rastafari, and there's nothing that exemplifies the nexus of that Pan-African root than the E.W.F. You know what I mean? It's the living, literally, the living institution that embodies the connection, Pan-African connection between Rastafari and the Pan-African community. So tonight we have a special episode. We have our elder, Rastafari matriarch, Empress Ima, who's with us. We're going to kick off with her. We have the international president, attorney Scheril Murray Powell. And we have also the president of Local 26, also one of the convention organizers. She's going to join us a little later. She had another engagement, Empress Sadie. So we are fully loaded tonight. This is going to be another classic episode. Get your ital snacks, get your meditation ready. Before we start, let me just big up the greatest comment section on the internet, the Lion Pride. If you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride. If this is your first time, I want you to just read the comment section, because we have the most intelligent comment section, the warmest, the kindest comment section. Big up Ras Roots in the house anytime you reach. We recently made Ras Roots one of our moderators. We're going to be making some of our monthly members moderators so that we can just make sure we regulating before the channel gets massive, because we're on our way to massive status. I always tell the item, we are toddlers, but we are on our way to greater things. You know what I mean? We have some big things planned in the works. So stay tuned, but we want to get ready before that. So big up all of the Lion Pride. The next town hall meeting is July 26th. We'll be dropping the information about that. Join our Patreon, our monthly subscriber. If you love the vibes, you watch the South Africa episode, big episode that we just dropped on Saturdays, creating a lot of reasoning, lot of fire burning, but we are coming together, and that's the main thing. We can agree to disagree. We can have fiery reasonings. It doesn't mean that we are enemies. It just means that we have to make sense and move forward in one accord. So if you haven't seen the South Africa episode with Field Marshal Tau, with Rasifo, the attorney, with Sister Mimi, Sister Zoe, Empress Zoe, and the legendary Rasse Kutafari, make sure you check it out. Also, we're getting ready to drop a legendary episode with Ras Aswad out of Ghana. If you don't know Ras Aswad, he is a legend in his own right. His son was kicked out of school for his locks. He took it to the Supreme Court of Ghana and he won the victory. He also did the artwork for Peter Tosh's Mama Africa album. He did the artwork for Muta Baruka Outcry album. He's an artist. He's a revolutionary. Big up. We're dropping that Ras Aswad. The first clip will be dropping tomorrow, and you'll see it. It's available already for our Patreon family and our YouTube members. You can become a member on YouTube or Patreon. If you have to choose, go to Patreon, because we don't get your information on YouTube, the emails and stuff. So definitely go to Patreon so we can make sure we have you on the email, so you get the newsletter, everything in the ecosystem that we're building. But big up all of the Lion Pride. We love the item like cook food. All right, housekeeping out of the way. Let us introduce our first guest. She's no stranger to this platform. If you haven't seen her interview, make sure you go and check it out. She is one of legendary, the first Rastafari woman in Ghana history. She is a ganja advocate, sacramental ganja advocate. She's the first woman president of the Ethiopian World Federation, international president. And to some, she's just Mama Ima, Empress Ima. She is a real treasure for the global family. Please give us a warm welcome for Empress Ima, Ethiopia. Royal greetings, Mama.
Greetings, greetings in the name of greetings to Her Majesty Selassie the First and Empress Waziri, and it's a pleasure to be here today as we prepare for the Black People's Convention.
Give thanks. There's a little light behind the eye. That's bright. Is there any way to move so because we're not seeing the eye face so well? If that light could be on your face. Yes. Give thanks. Give thanks. And while Mama gets herself set, I'm going to introduce our other guest, who is also no stranger to this platform, Sister Scheril Murray Powell, Esquire. Royal greetings.
Royal greetings. What's going on, Rasquasi?
I'm giving thanks for life and for strength. And she's fresh from the motherland. We're going to have to get her to come forward to talk about that Ghana trip.
It was amazing. Yes. All things reparations, repatriation. So we doing Jaws work. But thank you for your platform, and thank you for having the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated on the platform. We're very excited about convention. We're doing our pre-convention event tomorrow. Empress Ima's been working so hard, diligently, along with Sister Sadie and all of our chairs. So can't wait to get into that with you. But first of all,
is that better?
Rastafari independent media. We give thanks for Pan-African independent media. And we give thanks for the comments that I've been watching in the YouTube. So I'm seeing the comments come across, and I like the dialogue. I want to shout out Johnny Johnson, who said he's been an E.W.F member since 1969. So we give thanks to you and your continued support, and for that duty of service. Thank you so much. We honor you. And as mentioned, I'm Scheril Murray Powell, Esquire. I am the international president for the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. It's an honor to wear this mantle. It's an honor to have been elected by my peers in the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. So we're going to come together and fellowship this week, but I'll let our MC and host and dynamic reading Ross do his job.
We lost Empress Ima temporarily, so I'm going to start with the eye to set the table for the reasoning. For those who are watching for the first time and don't know what is the Ethiopian World Federation, give us a history. What is the Ethiopian World Federation and why is it relevant in 2026?
Yeah, that's a great question to start with. So the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated is our divine heritage from His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah, elect of God, defender of the faith. And, with all of the things that he had going on, the challenges, the attacks, he still made time to think about the diaspora. We may recall that his father, Mokonem, was chosen to go out into, the diaspora and visit with countries and things like that. And he passed that down to his son, that natural curiosity, that love for modernization. I was just reading about Emperor Tewodros also was responsible for a certain amount of modernization. But, when we look at His Imperial Majesty and how he approached the world and his travels, he wanted to understand and then he wanted to correct. Yeah. And in his divine inheritance, he had the power as emperor to put things in place. So the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated was created in 1937. That's when our constitution is dated from. We are approaching our 90th anniversary as the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. So in my mind, we're on the road to 90. which is beautiful. And from there, we'll be on the road to our centennial. So we've been around for a long time, and all those years we've been in service for the Black people of the world. So we were, as I mentioned, founded by Royal Imperial Charter in 1937. His Imperial Majesty, as we know, was well-traveled, and wherever he was traveled, he was received like royalty, and he was recognized as royal. But he was also looking at the state of Black people when he would travel, whether it was to a European country, South African, Central American, India. He always looked towards how are our people being treated, and then he would put in place a way of correction or diplomatic ways to correct the condition. A lot of people don't know that the Board of Education case was, it went through, or it was the positive change was made because His Imperial Majesty was planning a visit. So there's a lot of history people don't know that ties Black history to His Imperial Majesty. Brown versus the Board of Education is the case. I apologize. But those are things that when they anticipated an emperor coming, they're like, oh, well, we have to fix this. We have to, make it look like we're a more progressive state.
Yes.
That was the impetus to have that Supreme Court opinion go into place. So
they also integrated the military for that visit and
correct.
allowed the Black soldiers to come up.
Let's hear more about that, because people don't realize that because of his reputation for being a defender of truth and rights, that they had to snatch themselves together before he would come visit, or else they would be exposed and embarrassed, because his speeches were legendary and his speeches were watched all around the world. So they, in anticipation of His Imperial Majesty's visit, they knew they had to make some correction. But, Ras Kwasi, you're well studied in His Imperial Majesty's life, and you're writing this series of books, starting first, which is about his birth. But yeah, I want to hear your take on the progressive changes that happen in anticipation of His Imperial Majesty's visits.
Well, it was Dwight Eisenhower's reign that he came. He was invited right after the Second World War, but he delayed. I think he had great respect for Eisenhower as a soldier who fought in the war. And of course, we know his famous speech about the military-industrial complex and these things. So, but coming to America, the military was integrated, as you said, the Brown versus Board of Education, because what was happening is that this was in the height of the Cold War, and Russia was also using how America treated Black people as one of its main things to
arguments.
Yeah, against America and what they were doing. And then everybody, of course, as a non-aligned movement, they were courting Ethiopia and the emperor to be on both sides, so the Russians and the Americans. And this mitigates against those who make the claim that His Majesty was a Western puppet, because you can literally see what they are doing to try to show themselves approved to His Majesty, even though we know that they're not genuine. But as you said, when His Majesty come to your capital, you have to make sure the military is out there and there's not a spot on anybody's suit. Yes. You have to make, the school children were given a holiday from school. 1954 before the Civil Rights Act in 1964, 10 years later. So we're talking about 10 years before Black people have equal rights in the country. Every school child in Washington, D.C. is given a holiday. They are given flags to line the roadway. It's a public government holiday, so government workers are also given the day off of work for this African emperor. And this is why, as Rastafari, we feel so good, because there's no other example, of a head of state getting that type of accolade around the entire planet, East and West. So both sides of the Cold War treated him in the same majesty. And I have one of my guests one of my lion pride, my brethren Marty Lava, who always mentioned that his majesty got the Knight of the Garter, and he's a Mason, and he uses that to say he was a vassal of England. But what I would retort is that His Majesty was given the highest honor of multiple nations. So the Knight of the Garter was only one among many of these accolades that were given, and again from both East and Western Bloc. This is what the highest that the European honors that they bestowed on themselves, reserved for themselves, they had to bestow on our emperor. Because again, every knee shall bow, every tongue confess in real life, not fantasy. That's what I love about the emperor. But this is not about the emperor tonight. Well, it is.
It is always about the emperor, especially with E.W.F, the emperor and his chosen queen, as you always say, Empress Menen as well, Waziri Menen Asfa. But it's such a great gift and such a great sacrifice. So just imagine being, concerned about, your own immediate family, your royal family, being concerned about your well-being individually, being concerned about going to exile, and whether these were truly friendly people or not really friendly people, just being so vulnerable. And in the midst of all of that, he wanted to make sure that he founded the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated to make sure, regardless of the outcome of exile, he was going to give us citizenship as Ethiopians. He was determined to do that. And then in addition to that, he wanted to make sure that we could speak as one voice as the Black people of the world, and combat and triumph as the Black people of the world by joining together to fight this Ethio-Italian war. So, those are a couple reasons why he founded the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. But as the baton has been passed from one generation to the next, there's a lot of great works that have happened and continue to happen through the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. And, even though we do have our differences, I saw some things in the chat, even though we have our differences, there are groups that are doing, working towards helping orphanages and helping the JRDC school and building schools in Ghana and creating a land grant. They've been, when I went to Ghana the other day, they were like, we've been waiting. They went 40 plus years ago to prepare a place for us. And that's why when I always think about our repatriates in Ghana, Shashamane, I say, in my father's house, there are many mansions, and they've gone to prepare a place for us. And that was not easy. It was especially rough, crossing over, going onto the African continent in the 1950s, 60s, 70s. And everything seems to have been built around our Rastafari and E.W.F community. But the type of article that it takes to really abandon everything, probably leave children here and go into sometimes literally the wilderness, in order, and like I had heard a story from one of our local members of Local 24, and he said when he first went there, he went straight into the woods and said, if I survive this, then I know I'm meant to be here, and just subjected himself to the elements and animals, and he survived it. So it's a beautiful story, but I think sometimes when we romanticize the story, we don't really elevate the sacrifice. And that's why it's so good. Yeah, thank you. That's why it's so good when we get to come together, like at a convention environment, or even when we're doing the work that we do through the Global Black Food Sovereignty Movement, or when we come together and we do events with other organizations. Like in August, we're going to be doing an international reception with the National Business League in Atlanta. As we collaborate with these other Pan-African organizations, whether they're business, economic sovereignty, criminal justice reform organizations, we're still waving that banner of His Imperial Majesty. Yes. We're still doing this good work that is a tribute to the Ethiopian heritage as the oldest Judeo-Christian state, as the Kebra Nagast, all the a country of great kings and emperors and empresses. That their lineage goes through us. Through our divine adoption through His Imperial Majesty. So yeah, we're grateful. We're grateful for the founding in 1937. We're grateful for those who came before us and picked up the mantle of leadership, whether they were international presidents or whether they were IEC officers, whether they were executive officers in their local, whether they were their members, like I mentioned again, Johnny Johnson, who've just believed and fought and held firm since the 1960s, 1950s. All of that work is very important, and that's what brings us here today, and that's why I can be here, and sit as the international president and travel to all these countries, visit all these locals, and we're singing from the same song sheet with regard to our Constitution and bylaws. Our Constitution and bylaws is so perfect for what the work is and what the work was, that it still remains unchanged today.
Yes,
right?
yes,
What
yes.
documents, not even the United States Constitution is unchanged today, but His Imperial Majesty and this hard to call pure vision that he had for the betterment of the Black people of the world, it stands as much today as it did in 1937. And when he, even before that, when it was just a concept or a twinkle in his eye, it stands the same way today. So we're grateful. And when we come together, we get to celebrate that. And we get to look at this modern world as His Imperial Majesty had to look at the modern world and some of the challenges that existed and the threats that existed and say, how do we navigate staying true to truth and right, staying true to our Constitution and bylaws in this modern environment and not let the world overtake us, but be that light of the world where we are shining bright and we are influencing the world. That's really what it's all about. And that's why convention's so important, because we can, we meet, it's hybrid, so we meet virtually as well as in person, but this is our time to really do the business, reflect on where we are in history, and then, create a path for the future, for the next generation, or at a minimum for the next year, where there are a lot of unknowns for the next year. But one thing we know is we're going to get through it together, and we're going to get through it with dignity and respect, and we're going to stay true to the Constitution and bylaws and His Imperial Majesty's vision. Give thanks.
Give thanks, give thanks. I wanted to introduce our guest, but Wi-Fi the guy is intervening, but we'll introduce Empress Sadie shortly. But Empress Imo, I'm going to ask the same question, but I want the eye to take it from a Malaco Bayan perspective. We heard about His Majesty, but I think also the way that he empowered young people, in leadership is also part of the story. Can you tell us about Malaco Bayan and why is the E.W.F important in 2026?
I'll give thanks. Well, Malaco Bayan was actually emissary and also related to His Majesty. It was his cousin. And he sent Malaco Bayan to the States. He was married to Dorothy Bayan, who was born here in America. And he sent him here to gather the organizations that were supporting Ethiopia under one banner, and that banner was the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Yeah, so it was all together under one banner, Black people of the world. So this is our Black government. This is for us to function. And I know you said Malaco Bayan, but we have to start with His Majesty, because His Majesty saw and rewarded us. He rewarded us with Shashamani for our assistance to our brothers and sisters during the war. So it's a very important organization. It's very important for us to follow. You know, it says in our Constitution, it says to save us from violation, and it
Yes.
also says ancient Ethiopian culture,
Yes.
which it has everything. It has educational committees. It has medical units. It has juvenile unit. It has everything that we need to correct our mindset because we sort of lost our minds. So he's given us everything if we follow it. If we pick it up, it's only a few pages. If we pick it up and we utilize it, but we must utilize it to help change our mindset. For instance, what is an illegal immigrant in Africa? What is that? What
We're getting a
even that
little
we think
feedback.
Africa is foreign.
Sorry, we're
Even
getting
that
a
we
little
think
bit.
of Africa as foreign.
We're getting a little bit of feedback there, Empress Ima. Talk, let me hear.
Can you hear me? Is
Yeah,
it
go
better?
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, let me hear.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, that's better.
Better?
That's better. And then we're gonna
Maybe
introduce
that's
our
too close.
next guest. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought. Can you
Okay.
hear? Yeah, finish your thought. Finish your thought.
Yeah, I can hear. I could hear. So I'm just saying that he's given us that organization to save us, to pick up, to take care of our people. We have to be able to. At this point, we're not ready. We don't have the food to feed our people. Don't have the clothes. We don't have the land. So we're behind because our ancestors had more. They did. God had plenty places. They had plenty industries. Those things we need to pick up that constitution, utilize it, and strengthen our people. That's what it's there for the black people of the world. And now this is on Thursday, starts according to our constitution, July 16th. Every year is convention. Our people come from all over the world. They come from UK, they come from Paris, they come from Martinique, Guadeloupe, Ghana. We all come together, whether it's physically, some of us come together physically, and then some of us are online. So it's a great day, and it's a great way for us to unify. And I pray that all those who are on the line, Black people of the world, will join the Ethiopian World Federation.
Give thanks, give
I finished
thanks.
my thought.
Yes, give thanks mightily, I might add. Yes, mightily. And I want to introduce our next guest. This is a first on the Lion Voice Network. We want to give you a warm welcome, Empress. Sadie, can you just introduce yourself to the global family, the president of Local 26, as well as one of the main organizers of the upcoming convention. So just give an introduction for the global family.
Well, greetings and blessings to each and everyone on the panel. I am really hoping I can fill these big shoes that they have given me because they just gave me those shoes and all of a sudden I'm have to learn to walk in it and run in it as well. So, however, I am able to handle difficult situations. I am the president of Local 26, but I want to say first of all, I have been a member of the Ethiopian World Federation for over 18 years, of which
Okay.
I've been a friend with Empress Ima for probably 17 and a half of those years. So we have known each other for a very long time. It's an Empress I've grown to love and to know. And she's also a no nonsense person like myself. So
Yes.
we take the Federation with love. We take the Federation as a place where we want every Black person to be. However, being there for 18 years, I have been the secretary for 14 of those years, and then the president for 2 of those years. And if we should add mathematically, I was a member just hanging out, watching to see what they were doing. However, just standing on the sideline, I realized the only way the Federation could work is when you get involved and you do something and you make it work. You do something for your Black people of the world. Not an organization where you could just simply go in and look around and say, nobody's doing nothing, because then you'll be blaming your own self. So I took the initiative of being, upfront. I opened a woman auxiliary because the Federation has a constitution which gives us a guideline of to how we should operate. So the woman auxiliary is part of the unit that one of the units that are available in the but in the within the locals. We have various units and we have, different committees as well. So however, I found interest in opening the woman's auxiliary and being head of it, since I really wanted to make it work good, so I wanted to be in charge. However, what we have done with the woman auxiliary, we have had a radio program, and likewise I have a podcast now. So I've been talking for 8 years, and in so doing, with my talking, we promote the Ethiopian World Federation. This show goes on Sundays. First, we were just radio, and now we're with the podcast, just like you. And I found over the time, it gave us something to do as women. So
Yes.
various times the women will come on the panel and they will talk of their experience they have under Federation. Which sometimes, everything is not all hunky dory. Sometimes we do
Yes.
have
Yes.
problems with it, and they throw it at me. I consider myself a good problem solver, and we make things work. But most importantly, we are family. And I would like for us to believe and to know that we are the Black family of the world, not just we, the Black people of the world, but we feel each other pain. So I would take it upon myself to do certain programs, like of charity, whereby, having an office now, a physical office for Local 26 within the community, I am able now to just to talk to people. So I have talked about maybe over 200 people within the last 3 months who told me they have never heard of the Federation. They've
Oh
never even
wow.
heard those three words put together, EWF. So
Wow.
I found myself being a good ambassador to just walk around and tell people, do you know about the Federation? They say no. I said, come to my office. Let's come down the block. Let's talk. So this way, I see myself as really spreading the word, not just bringing members, which is my ultimate goal, but letting everybody know that there is something like this that do exist, and it's a really good thing. So I have had the interest of many, many people, and of course now we're having convention, and I was able to boast about our democratic process in convention, which I will not, go over because Empress Ima and President Scheril did such a good job in doing so, because I was listening from the background. And I just want to
Okay.
say, what I want to do is not just look back. Nostalgia is good, but I want to move forward. I want to go up the hill with the Federation. I want us to be that safe place where all the Black people of the world can know they can come if need be. And the joining fee is quite easily $5.20 a month, which sometimes we have to wrestle with people to get. It's not that they don't have it, but sometimes in that commitment of remembering to pay their fees. So this is my little part. I don't want to go on talking because I can talk for 2 hours because I have a podcast too. So I just want to back down a little bit and listen. Plus I'm a
Yes.
little
Yes.
tired, so let me just get a chance to
No,
listen.
no, you're doing so mightyful, and we're gonna have the eye come on individually as well. And before we leave tonight, we want to know more about the podcast, because we're gonna ask
Okay,
everyone to go and subscribe to the podcast and make sure that the Lion Pride is sharing some love with the eye, um,
right.
which is so mightyful. So
Okay,
I
a little bit
want,
about the podcast is
yes,
what we do in the podcast. We give everybody a chance to express themselves. We also invite locals to the podcast, and the podcast is a way of, if anything should happen in the federation, please know this is our broadcasting station. So we want every our locals to know there's also a place to be to kind of bring what you want to talk about, because on the podcast we do everything. We solve problems, we do marriages, christenings, babies, we talk about spiritual life, which I am
yes, yes,
very much you know
yes.
involved with. So again, I'll come back on for another few minutes. So at this time, I would rest. Give thanks.
So again, one more time, how do people find the podcast?
Okay, so I post on various. How would they find me? Oh my goodness. I would have to give my information because the link right now is a StreamYard and it's a long set of numbers which I can't just repeat right now, right over.
Okay, just
So
send it to me. Send it to me in WhatsApp, and I'll put it in the description of this video. So
yes.
anybody who watches this video will have a direct link to your to the podcast, and we're gonna ask everyone watching again. When you see the link, go over there, click the subscribe button. We are about spreading the love here at the Lion Voice Network and our Lion Pride. We're one of the most generous communities on the planet. So we're definitely gonna give us strength to that podcast. I want to.
Ross, plus I know you're going in
thank
another
you for having
direction.
me as well.
I just wanted to say, just frame this as these are the sisterns that welcomed me into the Federation, along with my local 12. Empress Ima and Sister Sadie were both in at that time in local 26, and they still welcomed me as a sister. And that onboarding experience is so critical to us reclaiming our members and retaining our members. So I just want to give thanks for them being so warm and welcoming when I joined the Federation after their many, many years of service and really preparing me to be in a leadership position along with, the brethren and sisters in my own local, which is local charter 12. I also want to say, with regards to our membership dues, I first of all, Sister Sadie and Empress, when they say I'm tired, that's real talk, because they've been working so hard on making sure that we have the best convention that we've ever had. That's like the goal. They have a very high bar that they've set for this New York convention, and they've been working nonstop to make it happen. So I'm very grateful. When you as the international president appoint people for their position, and I get to appoint for the CAC committee chairs, so they're the co-chairs, and then there's chairs responsible for programming, chairs responsible for nominations, balloting, and we are a very organized federation. But when you're appointing people, you never know whether, life challenges, life be life in, but the level of dedication and commitment shown by Sister Sadie and Empress Ima is admirable, and we're so grateful. There would be no convention without their leadership, as well as the leadership from our various committee chairs. So I am so grateful for the people, the members that I get to work with. So I wanted to highlight that. On the dues side of things, $5.20 a month sounded like a good deal. It's actually $5.20 a year. That's the annual dues. We have not increased it because we want it to be accessible for all the Black people of the world, regardless of their circumstances. It's 10 cents per week, and it's been 10 cents per week since 1937. So we are a very welcoming organization. We are very mission driven. We stay true to our values and true to our constitution and bylaws. And there's no better way to experience that than when we come together at convention. So starting off tomorrow is a welcome day, and it's open to the public. And we have, one of our members from Local 5, Dr. Umar Johnson, also known as Dr. Umar Ifatunde. He's considers Empress Ima to be his queen mother. And they were just together 2 weeks ago in Virginia, I think. And, he's always, if he sees me, he says, "Where's Queen Mother?" So there's so much genuine love there. And so he doesn't count it as robbery to come fellowship with his E.W.F members, but it's based on the relationship that's been cultivated. And this particular relationship has been cultivated strongly over years by Empress Ima. So for that, I'm grateful. And I got to, for last convention, tour South Africa with Dr. Umar. We went to Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town. It was all arranged by Empress Ima based on her 50 years on the African continent. So I would have been remiss if I let it continue without saying that, I was a baby coming into the Federation, but those who met me at the shore and welcomed me, they're the reason why I get to, sit firmly or stand firmly as the international president, because I've learned from all of our members that I've been engaged with. And, for these two women that I get to share this particular moment with, they were particularly welcoming. And that's what I want for our other new members coming in. So I'll hand back to you, Ross Kwasi, because I know you had a question, but I want to give respect where respect is due always. And it wasn't just, me getting here by myself. There were people who took me under their wing and welcomed me and, danced with me and explained to me and taught me and held my hand and sometimes wiped my tears. And that's why I can stand firmly in this movement and this mission. Give thanks.
Give thanks. And that's important because His Majesty said to lead, one has to be learn how to serve,
Yes.
and to follow. So I love that you give that explanation. Empress Ima, I want to ask the eye to explain to our family, what is a convention? What is the convention all about? What does it look like? And then later on, we're going to ask you about Dr. Umar and why he was chosen as the guest for this year and that relationship. But I want to start with even what is a convention? People hear the word, but maybe they're not clear. What is a convention and why is it important? Okay, we lost Empress Ima. Let me, Sister Sadie, are you there, Empress Sadie? All right, Sister Scheril.
Okay, greetings. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Oh, sorry. All right, yes, no, I wanted you to just explain to us what is a convention and why is the convention important, because a lot of people were just using these words, but what is a convention? What is a convention in the context of the E.W.F. and why is it important?
Okay. I know that Empress Ima can answer this question better than me, but I'm going to try because I think I'm good at answering it also. A convention, as the word said, it's our convention is held yearly. A convention is where we would say entertain the body of the Ethiopian World Federation, whereby the various locals, which in the various countries, would come together for us to exercise our democratic policies of selecting one to be president, vice president, and the various executive positions that are held, probably about 7 or 8 of them. I can go down the line. But the convention mainly, what I would say is the experience I had from convention is understanding that truly a democratic process is involved. Voting is fair, everything is open, and you have a area where you can exercise your voice, your votes, and how you feel. So we get to see officers who we have don't get a chance to see every day. We meet with them on Zoom and various social platforms. But convention is a time whereby we come together in the physical. So it's also a great time to know and see the ones of the voices you heard, to put a voice and a face together. It's also a time where we know, as we, the Black people of the world, we can simply vote and put into place who we want to lead us. It is done on a yearly basis, and leaders are changed sometimes on a yearly basis, but some leaders who would can hold their seats for sometime 2 or 3 years or even longer because the general body is happy with the work that they have done. However, in convention, within the all happy times, we do have a lot of conflict because convention is a time where I have seen emotions grow high. I mean, unbelievably high. We have breakdown, meltdowns, and every sort of thing. But at the end of the 3 days, we are happily able to fall in love again, choose our leader who we would stand behind for that year. And of course, it goes on every year. And to me, every year for the last 18 years, it's the same roller coaster. And then we try for it not to happen. It happens. And I think it's a passion and love of the Black people. We love each
Yes.
other so much that when we see each other, we don't even know what to do. So that's how I take it. But it's brothers and sisters, and we are just really happy that we have something called the Ethiopian World Federation that we can fuss about. It's for we, the Black people of the world, and believe me, once a member, always a member. But we have something called active members, which are the one who pays their dues. But for all part of it, at the end of the day, we feel a pride in knowing we have done it. It takes a lot out of us, but at the end of it, we do it. We select our leaders in a democratic fashion. So that I'm proud of. Give thanks.
Give thanks, give thanks. Empress Ima, I'm gonna bring it to the eye. We're talking about the convention and describing, is the convention open to anyone, or you have to be an E.W.F member to participate in the convention? Just give us a little bit more about, how do ones participate in the convention?
It's a members convention, members only.
Give thanks.
Yeah. So, and we participate. We delegates represent their local, and the delegates are based on the membership, your
Yes.
membership and your dues, and how you're active. That you're active in your local. You might have members that they haven't been or come for like 10 years, 15 years. So they're not active members. And we need active members, more active members. And we look for ones to come to convention, members to come to convention, whether now with the new age, you come online, you see each other that way. But I still love the in-person convention, tradition,
Yes, yes,
love.
yes.
Yeah. I've met many, people, uh, people in the Federation. I'm just thinking of some of them that I've met over the years, and the relationships and the work that we do together. And the strength of the locals, really the strength of the locals, is if we trade with one another worldwide, because we have locals worldwide. And with the 10 cents a week, we can easily do 5 million. We need 10 million members. Then we have
Yeah.
money to work with.
Yes.
So, yes. So that
So,
also takes place at convention, just the camaraderie. Yes.
so does the convention move, or is it in the same place every year?
No, convention decides, at the end of convention, we decide, the delegates decide where the next convention will be. Like last year, it was in Azania in Cape Town. And the year before that, I think it was in Martinique. And this year, it's in New York. I'm a little bit prejudiced about where I'd like it to be next year, but I won't say. Right.
You have to be a member. You have to be a member to find that one out at convention.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
Empress Ima wanted to be next year. That's part of the. I'm thinking that we're gonna need to do a documentary on the convention at some point. Just the whole
There's
process.
some video from old conventions as well that some of our members have. I think that's a great idea. We haven't done the best job of archiving, but fortunately, we have a lot of elders who are still with us and strong, so we can for sure. I just wanted to also offer that even though the convention is for members only, tomorrow is our welcome day, which is open to other Black people of the world. So just if you do want to come and you're not a member and see what we're about, please come tomorrow. And I think you'll enjoy what we've curated and our chairs have curated for you as an experience. And then I saw a comment in the chat about Queen Mother Moore, she's near and dear to a lot of our members as well. It's so funny because she must be, have something very special for us in her heavenly rest, because earlier today, Fab Five Freddy texted me and he sent me a video from Queen Mother Moore. So it's one of those things where you receive confirmation. So he sent the video and I watched it earlier today and we were discussing it a little bit by chat. And then to come on here and also see in the chat a reference to the Queen Mother Moore. She was a formidable force and a great example for us all. So I'm glad that we're keeping her legacy alive through the E.W.F. as one of our collaborators over the years.
Used to call me baby. Used to call me baby. And when, Africa House, one of my places of business, she used to make them take off their shoes and tell them they were on holy ground. So Queen Mother Moore, she was no joke. When Mandela came to Harlem and he had on a suit and a tie and she wrapped him in their cloth, she said, "How dare you come to Harlem like this? Where's your traditional clothes?" So she wrapped him up. Right. He was in the bubble. What are you doing in a bubble? Right. She didn't play. Her and her sister, they carried pistols to Garvey meetings and put them on the table. So she was something else, right? Her birthday is coming up. July, I think 31st is her birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, she was something else. Right.
So speak about the significance of it being in Harlem, New York this year, and E.W.F was established in New York, local one. How significant is it that we are having convention in Harlem, New York this year?
Well, I'll just jump in, but I know.
It's very,
Okay. No, go ahead, Empress Ima, please. I yield.
I'll let the older people go first.
I was just going to say it's significant because the E.W.F has always been a training ground. And just going back to our Constitution and bylaws, like we have different levels of leadership. So I want to also recognize our IEC, our International Executive Council, who I've served with for this past year and last year, as well as the first vice president, international first vice president. Now I'm the international president. So we have our International Executive Council that gets elected at convention every year. So we have elections coming up. But then another layer of leadership that we don't want to neglect ever is the local presidents as a level of leadership. And, one thing that I was very intentional about this year is empowering and informing our local presidents and taking counsel from our local presidents as well. So it's important that we look at the Ethiopian world as from our committee structure to our local structure to our IEC as a training ground for leadership. That it could be leadership within the E.W.F. and it can be leadership in other Black supporting Pan-African organizations. So I just wanted to highlight the leadership component of it. But no one, the Queen of Harlem, Empress Ima, will have to tell you why it's significant. And I have, as a Harlemite myself, I have some things that are really special about Harlem, the connections between our founding and Harlem today. So Empress Ima, I yield to your authority. And
Harlem, I would say what I said is that convention is in my yard. This is my yard. Harlem is my yard. So, yes, that's my yard. I've been in Harlem over 50 years. Yes.
Okay.
So, yes. So, this is going to be a great convention. It's going to really be a great convention. Working with co-chairs Sadie Gomez, was a pleasure. We're making it happen. We're gonna have good food, good energy. Tomorrow we're also celebrating. We're giving honor to two of our past presidents that transitioned this year.
And I also want to say something else about the convention.
Did we lose her?
Yes.
Yeah, so I just want to talk about, so one thing we were really intentional.
Hold on 1 second there. One second there. All right,
Okay.
Go ahead, Sister Cheryl,
Yeah.
and then I'll come to the I Empress Sadie.
Oh no, please,
Okay,
I
bless.
yield to Sister Sadie.
Okay. All right, Sister Sadie, come. Your president has yielded to the eye.
Really, that's my darling sister Scheril. What I want to say, and I don't think I'm gonna put myself in so much trouble right now, but I want to say and declare that this convention of 2026, Sadie Gomez of Sadie Culture Designs is making the official uniform of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. This uniform will be endorsed and it's going to go down in the history books. So we now have an official uniform, but the trouble is I only have two hands and I can imagine how much people waiting to put their hands around my neck. It would not be your Empress Heimer. So I just want to add, we have gotten ourselves an official uniform. So that will be something really beautiful for addition as to how the family is reporting to their locals and the whole federation. You know, we are taking a greater pride in it. So we are
Yes.
dressing ourselves when, remarkably.
I love it.
So
I
give
love
thanks.
it. Uniform will be on sale. Is that going to be a fundraiser for the federation? Will it be commercially available for members?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will be available for members. It's a fundraiser, not just for the Federation, but mostly for our members. So one thing that this year has been about is like encouraging economic development. So that economic development happens at the Federation level, it happens at the local level, but it also happens at the for the individuals. So we want to make sure that as we're growing and we're winning as the Ethiopian World Federation, that our members are as well. So we are encouraging even all our New York-based locals. We said,
I'm not hearing
what are you
President
bringing to the
Scheril.
convention to sell? Our committees. What are you using as a fundraiser? Because this is a rare opportunity when everybody will be here. So yes, it will be raising funds, but also for Sister Sadie as well as her local and also the Ethiopian World Federation as well. So we have to figure out what that looks like. But we're just happy to see her win and use her talents and not bury her talents. And in the Constitution reference is a uniform, right? So it's great to see that we're moving at our own pace and coming together to let no clause of our Constitution rest. So I just wanted to say that. But with regards to Harlem, first of all, because we were founded in Harlem, there's letters from Princess Dorothy Bayan to her sister talking about when she was coming over here fundraising. Because at first they were headquartered at the Rex Hotel or living at the Rex Hotel, which is a little further. I think it's like West 47th Street. And there were so many promises as far as people who were not of the Black people of the world that they were going to help them and they were going to give money. And what she found is Harlem was where she got the most support. The Black community in Harlem is where we got the most support in New York in our early days. So that's documented in her letters to her sister, which are part of the Yale University archives today. But we're doing tours on the weekend. Usually with the convention, we just go straight through, but we're being intentional this time of like, we can't keep having people come from Africa, England, the deep South and Los Angeles, and they leave Harlem and they don't see any of like the history of the E.W.F, the living history of the E.W.F. So we're going to visit the Schomburg Museum. We have letters from Princess Dorothy Bayan, as well as Dr. Melaku Bayan to Dr. Arturo Schomburg, who is a Puerto Rican man who, because he was told that, Black people didn't contribute anything, created a whole museum and library of all our great achievements. He was asked to be the on the education committee. And that letter, we get to reference that. That's in the Schomburg archives. So that's really near and dear to us. There are some of our members over the years who've spent hours and hours on end in the Schomburg looking for the archives of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. And there's great history of the E.W.F, the UNIA, the Black Hebrew Israelites, the Black Panthers in the Schomburg Museum, which is so accessible to us today. So we're definitely going to go to the Schomburg Museum, or we're going to arrange a tour to the Schomburg Museum. And then where Dorothy Bayan wrote her letters, because we can just look at the letterhead and be like, oh, that was E.W.F headquarters in their home, right? So on 136 in Adam Clayton Powell, and there's a structure there now, that's the address that we can reference from the archives, from these letters, and say this is where she lived and worked. We're going to take our members there. And because we're so closely partnered with the UNIA, like UNIA members, there are a lot of UNIA members, including the President General, First Assistant President General, Third Assistant President General, who are E.W.F members, as well as UNIA leadership. And then myself as E.W.F leadership and other E.W.F leaders are UNIA members. So there's where Harlem Hospital is in Harlem currently. That was UNIA territory. Those were parcels owned by the UNIA. They had supermarkets. They had a black dolls factory. They had restaurants and all these things. So we're going to introduce our members to some of that history in Harlem.
Powerful.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the possibilities. This is going to be my first pre-convention, so I'm looking forward. So, family, we won't have a live tomorrow evening. Our regular live will be postponed. I will be traveling, but I will be there doing some recording. So hopefully we can bring some of the goodies forward for the global family to see, just some of the sites. And of course, Harlem is one of the most important epicenters for the Black peoples of the world because of the Harlem Renaissance.
Yes, it's our Mecca.
And what was happening in Harlem in the teens and 1920s. This was an epicenter of Black culture and Black thought. So.
And home for Malcolm X, for Malcolm X, who's near and dear to us. 5% movement being based in Harlem as well. There are just so many things. And then also I don't want to say churchical spirit.
Volume.
What was that?
You're not hearing? Can you hear now?
Can you hear me now?
Can't hear you.
Okay.
You can't? Okay. I think
so we'll have to
exit and come back in. Exit and come back in, Empress.
So on the churchical side of things, because Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated is not a religious organization, and we have a lot of Rastafari, but we have some Muslims as well. We have Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Church members as well. So we're also going to show that side of Harlem as well, the spiritual diversity. So we're it's legendary, and you can Google it. His Imperial Majesty's visit to Abyssinian Church, and the throngs of people and that came out to see him at Abyssinian Baptist Church. So we're going to visit the church. We're going to go to a service these are optional, of course, but Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Church in the Bronx as well. That's near and dear to His Imperial Majesty. And then we're going to do a prayer vigil because there are locations in downtown where the Knicks parade was. Well, there was parade for His Imperial Majesty as well when he came into town, and they represent that with a plaque on the ground. So even last year, the plaque had been the one. There's two of them on Broadway. One of the plaques had been defaced, and because of our relationships with the city, and I kept emailing, hey, our His Imperial Majesty's plaque has been defaced. Can we get it replaced? And then lo and behold, it was the city replaced it so that it could be whole, out of respect. And I really appreciate, that response to our inquiry with regards to half of this plaque is missing. He's very important to our Rastafari culture, very important to us as the E.W.F, and they repaired the plaque. But there are two on Broadway that we're going to take our members to. And we're going to do a prayer vigil as well. And of course, we're going to honor the African American burial ground where President Mahama from Ghana just went to visit the same day that he had that landmark proclamation that declared the enslavement of African people and the racialized chattel enslavement of African people as the gravest crime against humanity. So we're going to, be where he laid wreaths, and some of our, colleagues, people who are friends to the E.W.F and the UNIA, like Sister Io Harrington. She was one of the people that told the bulldozers, no, their bodies here. These are our ancestors, and you can't just bulldoze over it and create build a building. So she is actually memorialized in the museum that sits there today, and you actually get to hear her tell the story herself by going inside this museum, which is located in a federal building. So they were originally going to build a building on top of these bodies, but then they were excavated. The bones were sent to Howard University for research and identifying the cause of death. The caskets were made in Ghana and lined with kente cloth so that they can be buried in an African burial way. So those are all things that we want to show our members, because New York has a lot of history. Harlem has a lot of history. And then we're having guests come, like Mr. Walter Edwards. He is an expert. He's been, I think he moved to Harlem in 1946. So he's going to tell us a little bit of Harlem history. So there's so much we have planned for our members and those who come tomorrow, so they can hear a little bit about and take pride in the achievements of the Black people of the world, specifically in New York.
Give thanks. One of our Lion
We have a
Pride.
marketplace too.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe you can answer this, Empress Ima. One of our Lion Pride members, big up Empress Devani Green. She's saying, Blessed Love Queens, highlight some concrete accomplishments of the E.W.F in the last 3 years, economic, educational, etc. Give thanks.
So we recently set up actually a trade route between Ghana and the U.S. So we're receiving goods, and we're from Ghana kind of regularly now, and it's reached the level where if we could take a picture of something and we send it, we can get it. So that's been established as far as for economics, and then also the president can speak about the food sovereignty, the Black food sovereignty that she's been working on, and also repatriation. There's some repatriation efforts have been going on, so the federation is rising.
Give thanks. Sister Scheril, I'm going to come to the eye if you want to also answer that question.
Absolutely. In 3 years is a long time, and we've done a lot in 3 years. I'm just going to focus on this past year, actually, just 1 year, what we've done while I've been international president. So, I came up with a concept after prayer meditation of having a very strategic approach to our mission, right? So the mission doesn't change. It's tied to our constitution and bylaws, but our methodologies and our approaches have to mature and evolve with time. So I developed the 7 R strategy. The first R is reclamation, or recruitment. So really making sure that the E.W.F is known to the Black people of the world. I was like, if we estimate what percentage of Black people in the world know are members, and we were probably at 0.00001. And we wanted to, measure our improvements in that area of making sure that the Black people of the world know who we are and can join us, can find us. We added a new local, so shout out to our local in Sierra Leone. So we're growing, and we're in conversations with a lot of other geographies. In the chat, you see there's interest out of Kentucky, there's interest out of Texas. So that's something that we can pursue in the next administration. We worked very closely with our locals with regards to their recruitment strategies. With regards to reclaiming members, people have different experiences over the years, but, we are just making sure that we are reaching out to people who were members before, and for whatever reason they became inactive. We reach out to them and we try to be attractive to them. I think that's an achievement, just being a more attractive organization. Also, reclaiming our relationship with the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawhid Church and with Rastafari and with our Muslim community, and really walking the talk of being a non-religious organization by welcoming people from all faiths. So I think that's something that we can be proud of. We've definitely been reaching out to the youth, speaking to the Ifatayo homeschool collective in Brooklyn, the Africology Institute in South Africa, visiting them, visiting the Spelmore Institute in Accra, Ghana, through Ross Kwasi, reaching out to other homeschool curriculum developers so that we can unify around a Pan-African Rastafari curriculum, and having engagement and having them talk to each other. I think that's a huge achievement, instead of people operating in silos. With regards to reparations, being at the table for the Next Step conference in Ghana. I just came back a couple weeks ago, where heads of state, secretaries of states, were there. That was big for the Ethiopian World Federation to be considered, respected, and have an opportunity to contribute to the outcomes document. Also, when it comes to repatriation, working with the Rastafari community, that is, they're some of the longest serving repatriators, because we have to welcome each other back to the continent. So, instead of reinventing the wheel, just leaning on that experience and elevating our Rastafari and Pan-African community as the experts when it comes to repatriation. I think we've done a lot of great work there. When it comes to, restoration, just restoring hearts and minds, but also United Nations relationship and the AU relationship. I personally have spoken at least probably 3 United Nations conferences in the past year myself. We had our executive secretary attend and our international treasurer attend in Geneva this year. So really being on that world stage is significant. We had our executive secretary and other members go out to Burkina Faso, where we don't have a local currently, but just to show solidarity and have outreach with that community. I think that's a great achievement as well. Reform. We had to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, what's not working? Why are people not joining at the rate we'd like? So we did a lot of internal reformation work that, I really can't speak to here in this open forum, but, it's significant, the positive change that we've made by having an honest look at ourselves and saying, who do we want to be? And who did His Imperial Majesty see us as? And how do we close that gap? And that's what this year was about, is like continuous improvement, right? And then, with regards to relief from financial insufficiency and, economic development, that happened at the committee level, at the local level, internationally, just really looking at dreaming big and thinking big and being self-sustaining and going. There was a speech that I gave when I was in Ghana at the Mbongi Global Black Food Sovereignty Conference, and it was called From Survival to Sustainability to Sovereignty. And we are on that we're on that trot right now. So we have a lot of achievements there with regards to our refocus on economics as individuals and cheering for each other when the other person wins. That means we're closer, and really creating that supportive, sustainable, sovereign approach to wealth, and developing an Ubuntu African values-based approach to wealth. So those are just a few of our achievements in this past year, but it would take too long to talk about going back 3 years in our achievements. We've been very vigilant, very focused, and we're improving with regards to our discipline. And you're muted, Judges Much.
Oh, sorry. I said I love that. I love that. Very presidential as well. And I like that you had, for all of your points, you had an achievement associated, which shows a clarity of thought.
Yes.
This is one of the reasons that I became a member of E.W.F, was just observing how Sister Scheril was dealing with the matter. Because we know about E.W.F a long time. But, when I see the commitment and the sacrifice that the sister was making as fellow legal counsel, I say I can't leave her on the battlefield and I don't rise to that destiny, because we always knew it was part of the destiny because His Majesty created it. But all things in due season. And as you say, we still have a lot of work to do. But I love to see.
Not to mention the work you're doing with RMO and RRR, and that's really important work. It's still the E.W.F, but you're using your talents to support where there's the greatest need, and that's very important.
Well, I'm a part of the publicity committee of Local 12, and this is an unofficial, part of that work, making sure that the E.W.F has visibility globally.
Yes,
so that we can get excited about it again as a global Rastafari family, and start, all of the people who, because a lot of Rastas are members, but they're just inactive. So hopefully the Lion Pride globally will see this and start to get active in their locals and have a solution. Empress Ima, while we have you, tomorrow the keynote is Dr. Umar Johnson, and Sister Scheril said he refers to you as a Queen Mother. Give us a history on that relationship. How did you meet Dr. Umar, and why was he chosen as a keynote speaker? We know there's some controversy in some circles, but we want to know from the eye, why did the E.W.F choose him as the keynote? Hold on there. You're muted. You're muted. You have to unmute yourself. There
What about
go.
now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Yeah, clear.
Okay, so I have a special relationship with Dr. Umar, a very spiritual relationship. And the ancestors showed us that we needed to come together. We were both born the same day. And not only are we both born the same day, he's born 1974. And then when you turn the 74 around, you get 47. I'm born 1947. So our numbers are exactly the same.
Wow.
Right. And I think I told you before, when the first time I asked him to come to South Africa, make a long story short, up until the day, 2 days before he actually was coming, I didn't have any money to do the event. But nonetheless, I had enough money to buy his ticket and mine. And then the day before the tour was to actually start, a 2-week tour, somebody came and asked, could himself and his wife travel with us, and they pay for everything. So we're very spiritually connected. And he never he's never said no when I asked him, would he go to Martinique, Guadeloupe, South Africa. We've taken him there twice. and he's well, first of all, he highly speaks of the Rastafari community. He says if it wasn't for the Rastafari community, ones would not know of Marcus Garvey, that we
Yeah.
held that banner up. So he
Yes.
does speak of that. And he doesn't, he also says that he doesn't really go around to make people, to teach people. He goes and speaks to make people feel good about themselves. And when he leaves, they're feeling, joyous. And we need to feel joyous because we've been through a lot and we still are going through a lot. So this the school, and that he's a Pan Africanist, and it's just, and he's a member. He's a member of local our St. Croix local number 5. So it's very fitting that he should be the speaker, the keynote speaker for tomorrow's event. And people are calling, excited about coming. It's a free event, and we'd like them to come and spend their monies in the market with our people. Yeah, I mean, he. You don't ever have to tell him what to speak on. He knows what to speak on. He feels the energy. Plus, what we're going through, in America now, we act like, like, oh, all of a sudden it got, worse. But they've been killing our sons and daughters, our sons, our uncles, our fathers for years. It's not. It's just that now, it's more. We're seeing it more because, of the media. But it's been this. It's the same. So we've been at war since we've been here. So it's good that he's coming tomorrow, and I'm sure. I pray that we can link him up with you, Quasi, so you can do an interview.
Yes, yes. I met him a long time ago through the Ethiopian Rastafari community on Howard campus. This was before he became a national figure. But even then, he was one of the best orators I had heard. He has a gift for oration, and I know he's familiar with Habesha as well. So yeah, I look forward to reasoning with him. My only critique is that he needs a team. He really needs a board, a school board to help him with the school and to make sure that it's not just him trying to take on everything, because that is tough.
It can't work.
It
That
cannot
can't
work.
work.
It cannot work. You know what I mean? And I know as Rastafari, a lot of people are hoping for his failure and his downfall, and I'm not one of them. I really pray for the brother because he has a gift. You know what I mean? Where black people who are not conscious whatsoever will sit down and they will listen to a Dr. Umar. You know what I mean? That's a rare gift when he goes on the Breakfast Club and these mainstream platforms and gets 10 million views and all of this. And he's also a comedian too. The man is legitimately funny. You know what I mean? He have jokes. So I'm looking forward to hear what he
And
has
so
to say.
kind, and such a
Yes.
kind person as well.
Yes, yes.
Like that joke thing. Well, I can even tell you how I found out we were born the same day. The day that I first met him, my Kingman actually took me to see him, and I was like, "Wow, he's never taken me to see no man." So this must be good. So afterwards, it was and he was walking around. He came to my table, and I know I just felt a vibe, like I kind of knew him. So then I asked him, when is your birthday? And so then he told me, say, his birthday is August 21st. And I said, oh, just a minute. So, I went and got the King Man, and then I told him, say, tell him when your birthday is. And he said, oh, that's her birthday too. Oh, I said, see, that's why you like him. So, we have a good time together with with the laughs, you see. So we're kind of some things I feel like were similar. He's very disciplined. As when he was younger, he went to his father sent him to military school, so that made him very disciplined. So if you when you travel with him and he goes to the bookstore, he comes out with like 15 books, and he'd be reading them all on the plane, and he's a barber by profession. So, he's, well, tomorrow you'll see. You'll be
Yeah,
there, right,
no,
Quasi?
yeah, I'll be there. I'll be
Right.
there.
He's
Trip.
always, live. I mean, he keeps it going, right? He keeps it up, keeps the people up, makes them, as I said, he likes to make the people feel good about themselves. Our soul, we've been and we're going through a lot, and then we can't waste time right now. We can't waste time on our petty differences. His Majesty gave us this organization, the Ethiopian World Federation, for us to come together. He didn't say you Baptist. He didn't say Christian. He didn't say Rasta. He said black people of the world. This is the mantle that we must pick up and use to unite our people into one. And we could have
Yes.
locals all over the world. You could have a local on one block, and the next block you could have another local, then following local. And then if we can just link together, trade, re-educate our people, there can be a change. But without it, if we don't pick up that mantle and utilize it, you lose what you don't use.
Yes,
So
I.
this is our time. This is definitely our time. We this year was a I didn't this the sound was off for me when the president was speaking, but I noticed that this year for the council, for the international council, it's been a very fruitful year. They have done a lot. I mean, everything is not smooth like butter, but we don't eat butter, so it's getting better, and it will continue to get better as we work at it. So come on board, come in. Don't sit on the sidelines and point fingers and say, "Oh, this and they didn't do it or they didn't do that." It's we have to come together and make this federation work. His Majesty's organization. His Majesty's only organization that he gave us is the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Give thanks.
Give thanks. And this is the divine power that we speak of, that lives into perpetuity. You know what I mean? His Majesty gave tools, education, the infrastructure of a nation, but also the E.W.F as an organizing and centralizing entity that, as you say, allows us to transcend. For many years, people thought that E.W.F was a mansion of Rastafari because so many of I and I have joined. But I always, even from the early days, used to have to correct people and say, no, it's not a Rastafari mansion. This is a Pan-African institution. So I'm glad to hear the I talk about Muslims and Baptists and, every black person can find a voice with the E.W.F. And it's so critical because what's happening now internationally, we're on the cusp of a massive energy shock. As we speak right now, Europe is on the brink of a land war with Russia. Bombs are going off in Ukraine. We have bombing happening between Iran, the Gulf states, United States of America, Israel, Lebanon. Parts of the world are in flames. Sudan, the AES fighting the terrorism. So World War III is unfolding, and the E.W.F was built during a time of war. And I would argue that that war has never really stopped. It's just changed form because the same characters that were behind World War I and II are behind this current war. So I say all of that to say that we're in unprecedented times as the Black people of the world. The prices are rising. I know everyone is feeling it. People are already feeling the economic strain. A lot of us live check to check, hand to mouth. You know, so for a lot of people, they'll see the E.W.F, but the system kind of makes you want to go to your corner and just face this tribulation by yourself. And you don't want to go around people. You don't want to argue with nobody about whatever. You know what I mean? So what is the E.W.F vision for these perilous times in terms of answering the promise to save us from annihilation? I'm coming to the eye. Guys muted.
Yeah, so see the balance there? You were muted, now I'm muted. But, you know, I think His Imperial Majesty's words are as true today as they were yesterday, which is organize and centralize, really be disciplined. You know, I gave in my, we have an annual general meeting as part of our constitutional requirements. And I talked about wastefulness and not contributing to waste and reprogramming ourselves. There's so many ways that we've been programmed, especially when you look at our younger people. You've actually reprogrammed me not to say youth when we're talking about grown people, right? But you know, when we're talking about our youth, our young adults, our mature, even our mature adults. They've been programmed to live by the pleasure principle. They've been programmed to waste and not think about, you know, I remember people washing foil. And I think I may have spoken to you about this, Rasquasi, about like, I remember people washing foil and then hanging it up to dry and then reusing foil. And then we wonder, how did our parents or grandparents pay off their mortgages and do all these things? Well, they had a low waste environment. You know, if you threw food in the garbage, they would be like, listen, you need to get that out the garbage, you know, real talk. So I think we've been programmed to be more wasteful so that we don't have abundance. So we don't have something to get us through these times. We have to completely scratch that template and reprogram ourselves to organize and centralize, work through conflict, be disciplined, minimize waste, and always look for opportunities to develop anything that is even if you do a SWOT analysis, if you have a threat, you have to look at it like an opportunity. So anything that is negative that impacts us, what's the opportunity? Any challenge, what's the commercial solution that we can come up with as a people, and lean into that so that we are resilient and that we are self-sustaining. I think that's what's going to carry us through this time. Again, being organized, again, centralizing under our our constitution and bylaws for the Ethiopian World Federation, through the Rastafari councils, through, these Pan-African organizations, and then also be disciplined enough not to hate each other, disciplined enough to still be able to work with each other, disciplined enough to speak the truth when it's unpopular. All right. And really, I just think, and I'm always looking at myself, I'm trying to minimize the waste in my life, and shrink my spending, don't spend on unnecessary things, even experiences and food out, and try to teach my son that so he can survive without a mommy being there to to just give into his every whim and things that. It's just like, why do you need this many pairs of shoes? Like for me to raise my son where he doesn't have lack, where he can feel good and have dignity. I haven't bought myself shoes in like a couple years. Good. Right. That's just my life. Like I've learned to repair things. I've learned to just not wear things out as much. I went to Ghana the other day. I took 2 dresses that had holes in it to Ghana because I knew there was a tailor at Legacy Garden Apartments from Local 24 that would be able to repair the dresses in a cost-effective way for me. So I took 2 dresses that had holes in them to Ghana. Usually you go with an empty suitcase to Ghana, you could just buy all these clothes. But for me, I was like, let me just take these 2 dresses and see if he can fix them. He fixed my 2 dresses, and it was at a fraction of what I would spend here. So just having that mindset of just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think that is like going to be the mantra and the lesson learned for these ages. Just because you can be nasty to someone doesn't mean you should. Just because you can spend that money doesn't mean you should. Just because you can boof somebody doesn't mean you should. And just having that mindset, especially around spending, and especially about your tongue as a double-edged sword. Very critical. We have to have a little bit more control over ourselves, and that's what's going to take us through these times. Because when you look at His Imperial Majesty and Her Imperial Majesty, they were very thoughtful and intentional about everything they did, including their spending. They spent on churches, like you know what I mean. Those are the big spends that we would see were just philanthropic, spending, helping people, bringing aid to people, very intentional about the action. Her Imperial Majesty, trying to allow girls to be educated and not married at a young age. And so what is our contribution? Are we just takers? That's what we really have to sit and ask ourselves. Are we going to be known as the taking generation, or are we going to be known by our contributions? And that happens at a macro scale, but it definitely happens at a micro scale. And being generous, but generous in a way that it builds something, that it doesn't contribute to waste.
Give thanks. I think it's so crucial what they are saying in terms of preparation. We have to return. We haven't been in a global crisis for a long time. I think COVID was a preparation. Mm-hmm. But as we saw with COVID, as soon as the pressure eased up, everybody went back to normal, back to what they were doing instead of maintaining that kind of mindset that was forming during COVID. And, with this energy shock that's coming with the price of diesel, and for those who are not aware, Saudi Arabia and Yemen are now fighting, and that's significant because Yemen controls the access point to the Red Sea. So now they're claiming that the Red Sea is also going to be shut down, which is another percentage of oil, the world oil supply. So these people are intentionally crashing the global economy. And for us as the Black peoples of the world, without strategy, we will get trampled as well. We will become victims because remember, they're crashing the system because they have a solution for you, but it's not a solution that we necessarily want to be a part of. So this is where the E.W.F comes in terms of giving us a framework where we can organize and centralize through the locals, come together internationally, and we can accelerate, whether that's buying land, whether that's building developments, whether that's, implementing, ITA standards or things that are coming down the pipeline, Black food sovereignty. All of these things, the E.W.F gives us a vehicle that allows us to do this work. The other part I wanted to also just utter is that in 1937, remember that this is the height of the Italian incursion into Ethiopia. This is a point where His Majesty in his humanity is at one of the lowest points, exiled from his country. facing the pain that we as the diaspora face being away from home. There were so many, I'm reading a book now, there were so many challenges, definitely to outside observer did not look good because the Italians were entrenched in Ethiopia. The Rasses, a lot of the Rasses had bowed to the Italian. They had pledged allegiance to Italy once. They submitted themselves formally. Some of the great houses, Ras Hailu, more specifically of Gojam, but you also had Ras Seyum of Tigray. These were some of the big Rasses that eventually, because the Italians, the nobles, exactly, because the Italians were actually hunting all of the nobles and murdering them, any opposition. So those who wanted to survive and stay in the country, a lot of them submitted. Even the rebels, they were trying to put, the descendants of Lij Ayasu on the throne, crowning. There was a crowning of Bebe Eragai. So there was no guarantee His Majesty would return to sit on the throne in that time. We looked forward, that it was so bleak, but His Majesty never lost faith. His Majesty, as the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, kept his head high. Even though he had to sell his silverware in Bath, to meet the financial, he was taking care of a lot of people, who were dependent on the crown.
And security.
Yes, you know what I mean? So this, and I say all of that to say that is in this condition that the Ethiopian World Federation is established. And again, showing that he was thinking about the Black people of the world. And I want to pass it to the Empress. I'm going to pull up the Constitution in the meantime, because we have to read some of that preamble, because to me, that preamble His Majesty was writing for us in this time, when we're facing this dragon of war, the four horsemen, as they say, the rider on the pale horse who was death, war, famine, all of these things that are running rampant on the face of the earth right now. His Majesty wrote this Constitution so that I and I would have a roadmap for this time. Do you have it there, Sister Scheril?
I can pull it up.
Yeah, you can pull it up. Empress Ima, how do you see the E.W.F playing a role in this Armageddon time? Or what would I like to see?
Right by saying, it says right there in the beginning of the preamble, it says, we the Black people of the world, in order. So there's an order. We have to get in order, right? In order to be able to achieve these things: unity, sovereignty, self-reliance. Those are all things that we need to be able to unify our people and go forward, to re-educate our minds. It says, save us from annihilation, to spread the ancient Ethiopian culture. It tells us exactly how to save ourselves. And until we go, we say go back, it's not go back, till we go forward to our culture and heal from the misconceptions and the miseducation that we receive. And the Federation gives you all those things that you need to recover, to repair. Our president has 6 R's. Tell them about the 6 R's, President. She has 6 R's.
7 R's. Yeah,
and
I went
those
through
6
the
R's will help revive us. Even that, they call it segregation, but it's not segregation. It's not segregation. It's returning to your own culture, strengthening your own self, building your own structures, educating your own children, trading with one another, spending with your own people, becoming loyal buyers. Those are all things that we need to be able to save us, to grow our own food, to feed ourselves. Until we are able to utilize that our Constitution and do those things, we won't be able to save ourselves. And I hope the president will read the
Yeah.
preamble now.
Yeah, I'll read the preamble. It says, "We, the Black peoples of the world, in order to effect unity, solidarity, liberty, freedom, and self-determination, to secure justice and maintain the integrity of Ethiopia, which is our divine heritage, do hereby establish and ordain this Constitution for the Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated." So that's the preamble. It's as true yesterday as it is today.
Okay, and read the first article too. That's my favorite.
Article 1. Yes, Section 1. The name of this organization shall be the Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated. Section 2. The aims and objects of the Ethiopian World Federation, Incorporated shall be A, to promote love and goodwill among Ethiopians at home and abroad, and thereby to maintain the integrity and sovereignty of Ethiopia, to disseminate the ancient Ethiopian culture among its members, to correct abuses, relieve oppression, and carve for ourselves and our posterity a destiny comparable with our idea of perfect manhood and God's purpose in creating us, that we may not only
Hold on,
save ourselves.
stick a pin. Does that not sound like the establishment of Zion on earth?
Yes, I.
The perfect manhood and the
The
almighty
rediscovery
purpose
of Zion on earth. The rediscovery.
Oh, yeah, bingy. All right, sorry. Start from the top again, please. Sorry.
Section 2A. To promote love and goodwill among Ethiopians at home and abroad, and thereby to maintain the integrity and sovereignty of Ethiopia, to disseminate the ancient Ethiopian culture among its members, to correct abuses, relieve oppression, and carve for ourselves and our posterity a destiny comparable to with our idea of perfect manhood and God's purpose in creating us, that we may not only save ourselves from annihilation, but carve for ourselves a place in the sun.
Okay.
In this endeavor, we determine to seek peace and pursue it, for it is the will of God for man.
You see,
so yes,
that why right there is the mission, and the key is that it's not just defensive. He said not just to save ourselves from annihilation, but also to carve for ourselves a place in the sun. So this is the building part, because what happens is that a lot of times we just become very reactive. We're reacting to oppression, we're reacting to this or that, but we're not planning, we're not building the alternative. You know what I mean? So we're in a cycle of just responding to what others, the vision that they have for us. We have been tasked as a generation with the use of our divine imagination to conceive a new heaven and a new earth, the one that descended from the Most High. And this is the task, I think, that we have to spend a considerable amount of time on. And I'm so elated, that the E.W.F is now starting to gain its strength, because I know that E.W.F is one of the institutions, as the item can hear very clearly. This is a very clear vision in terms of what we are to do. Again, not just save ourselves from annihilation, which we are tasked with that in this hour, but also to carve out for ourselves a place in the sun, which to I sound like international Black repatriation fundamental freedom and redemption. That's how it sounds to I. I don't know. You know,
No,
if
I love it. I love where it says to seek peace and pursue it. So, what does
Yes.
it mean to pursue peace? That means you're not bringing chaos into different
Federation
situations.
salute.
You can't be
Yeah.
a pursuer of peace and you bring in confusion and chaos wherever you go.
Yeah.
You have to seek peace, but you have to pursue peace, like
Can you hear
chase.
me?
You have to. Yep. Yes.
We
Yes.
we
Sir.
hear you, but
You can
you
go
might,
ahead. You got to chase peace. You have to
yes,
chase peace.
yes,
You can't
yes,
bring chaos and confusion. You got to chase peace. Yes, I.
yes. And
Sorry,
also
Empress.
it
Yeah.
starts with love too. I love that. You know what I mean? Love is the foundation. Empress Ima, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Empress Ima? Can you hear? Can you hear?
No, I don't hear. No.
Okay, yeah, she's not hearing. Go out and come back in again. Go out and come back in again. Okay, we're at 9 o'clock already.
That was
We're-
quick.
yeah, it was very quick. We're gonna seal up. Again, there'll be no live broadcast tomorrow, our regular Lion Talk Live. We will have content that goes live at 8 sharp, so we still will have content. So check it out. We're gonna drop our first part of our interview with Ras Aswad. He's a legend from our Ghana family. So make sure you still report and stay tuned. But I will be in New York with the Queen at the pre-convention. So we're looking forward to that. Empress Ima,
Yeah.
royal greetings. I just want the eye to just give us your final sounds about 2026 convention and what do I want to see coming out of this convention, this historic convention in Harlem, New York.
I want to see international trade on a high level because we have plenty of ideas, plenty ideas. We don't lack ideas. We need money. So trade. I want to see trade. I want to see us talk about taking something from Ghana and then taking that to South Africa, taking something from South Africa and taking it to Kenya, taking something from Ethiopia and taking it to Alabama. I want to see that come out of this convention. I want to see food that we talk about growing food, recapturing our lands, not only here but also in Africa. Right. I would like to see that. I want to see that come out of convention. I want to see us bury our petty differences, put them aside and come together. I want to see us work towards healing. I want to see us protect our children. I want to see our families come together. So there's a lot I want to see come out of convention, and it can happen if we just humble ourselves and respect one another. Federation salute, Federation rising.
Royal greetings. Final word from our international president, Scheril Murray Powell Esquire. Just give us your final sounds, what the I want to see coming out of the
Yeah.
convention.
Yeah, I want to see us come together and have fun, enjoy each other, get the work done in a record timing way because sometimes things can drag on, so we can enjoy ourselves more. And I want to see leadership in all types of forms. I think we've been programmed to think that leadership means being on the top always, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think at every level in the Federation, at every level in government, you can show leadership. You can show strong leadership. So that's what I think that's what this era is about. It's like, from the parable, don't bury your talent. We can use it at the Federation, and also know that we're all on top when the Federation is winning and when we're achieving our mission. So making sure that you look for your way to contribute and your way to demonstrate strong leadership, but does not definitely, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in a top position. When we're, I like to say we're collaborating, not competing at the top. It's all about collaborating. It's all about building together. And I think the last thing I'll say is I want to see a strong view on returning to Africa and helping Africa, contributing to the African continent. I want to hear people making concrete plans for repatriation and or trade, and or philanthropic efforts to strengthen our motherland. So give thanks.
Give thanks and Isis. Before we trod, I just want to share, we are still raising funds for our elders, Bongo Wisely and Nana Faraika. So I want to thank everyone who has given a contribution so far. When we started, I think we were at 3,500. We're at 3,929 of 4.5K. So we still have a little ways to go. I know a lot of I know Nana Faraika. She's a fighter, you know what I mean? She's on her recovery journey. So we just want to love up our elders. You can go to GoFundMe, type in Nana Faraika. This will come up. And, whatever you can afford, just give it directly to the elder. I know some of the item I've been contacting her, you want to send either money, but I don't accept money. I want to, unless it's for the platform, send it straight to the ones who are raising money. We will be that conduit for community, but we're not going to be a pass-through. We cannot be a pass-through entity for those funds. So just send it directly to our Queen Mother. Also for our Elder Bongo Wisely, just reach out and we can send you the elders information as well, or you can go on the episode, his birthday episode, and his link is in the description there. But yeah, we want to just create a culture as a Lion Pride of generosity. These are hard times ahead. We're going to need each other. So when our elders do any little outreach, we're just asking the global family, make we just deal with that quick fast. Bongo Wisely is trying to raise $3,000. I'm going to follow up with him. So by Saturday's episode, we can give an update. Saturday morning, we're returning with an E.W.F member straight out of Ethiopia. Our chaplain, Kip Ezekiel, will be our guest on Saturday. We're going to be talking about Harar, Jerso, Godo. We're going deep into the history. The Brethren has done extensive research on Lich Tafari and the birth of His Majesty and his mother. He's seen he has built a relationship with the church that has been built at His Majesty birth site. And he's just doing some great work. So we're going to, this is Lich Tafari month. So we're going to be reasoning with our brethren in Ethiopia on Saturday. So stay tuned for that.
I just want to say there's going to be a Rastafari roundup on His Imperial Majesty's Earth Strong, where Rastafari all across the African continent and throughout the diaspora are going to get on Zoom. So when that information is available, I'll share it with the Lion Voice Network. Yes. And I just want to thank the Eye for your platform again and always uplifting the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, as well as Rastafari community, as well as Pan-African community. Thank you for stepping into your purpose in this way, and we have benefited greatly. Give thanks.
Give thanks. I'm inspired by the Eye. I've seen Empress Ima a long time on the battlefield. I'm inspired by the elders who came before us. I'm inspired by the Eye. And most of all, I'm taking from my Queen Mother, Empress Ima, is we can't afford the luxury of petty differences. We can't even entertain petty differences. We can strongly disagree. Remember, I always say this is not a yes man factory, but that cannot get in the way of the work that we have to do together. and the things that we have to build. You know what I mean? That's where I draw the line. There will be no division allowed on this platform. So when we see it, right now we have Ras Roots as our moderator. We're gonna bounce people out of here. You know what I mean? Because we don't have time to waste with people who are coming with division or divide and rule tactics. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that we don't disagree. Again, we can disagree. I and Marty Lava would disagree all day. Marty Lava would just bombard I with some comments, and me and him back and forth. And I'm a brethren who I never met, you know what I mean? Because I love the sword sharpening, you know. I don't want to be in any environment where everybody's agreeing with everybody, because that to me is a dangerous place to be. We want to be where we can have, you know what I mean, disagreement. Marty Lava, what are you saying? He said not one post-colonial African leader had clean hands. Ain't that right, Kwasi? You see? Me and Marty, we have that relationship, and other people disagree in the comments, but the thing I love about the Lion Pride is that the disagreements are respectful. You know what I mean? People hail up them one another when they come in the comment section. Is a community that we're building here. And again, things are going to get real. We're going to be able to watch things unfold. We're going to have people who come on and talk, different experts. We're going to have a lot more Pan-African experts that come on the platform. We're going to have a lot more E.W.F members from around the world come on the platform. So we're going to use the platform to inform our family as we go through this time of tribulation. And all we're asking from the item is become a monthly member, tune in, support Rastafari independent non-aligned media so that we can afford to step up. I'm not a cameraman. You know, I don't want to be a cameraman. I don't want to be an editor. I don't want to be a graphics man. I'm all of those right now. And I mean, because we have to make it work. But we want to be in a position to be able to pay. And that will also raise the quality of the Lion Voice Network for the item. And it's something we all will be proud of, you know what I mean? And I also would like to be able to travel to the different communities and get more in-person reasonings. So the item are part of that, and we're on the way. So I want to thank everyone who sees the vision and who's supporting the vision. You know, it's very humbling. We are going to be, we started giving out our community works grants. We gave out our first community works grant to Mama G. We are now accepting nominations for the July grant. We're going to give funds. I have nominated Rases Dr. Jazanai Kush as my nomination for July. If you want to nominate, you have to become a member of our Lion Pride on Patreon and be a member for at least 3 months. But any member of our monthly subscription can vote, and we will be giving out that funds at the end of this month. And every month we'll have a different community worker, and the money is unrestricted. If they want to take it and go to the spa and lie around and get a massage, we happy for them. But we just want to, as a Lion Pride, show our respect to the workers who are doing the work. Our philosophy here on this platform is put the capital in the hands of the workers. We want the people doing the work to have the capital to get the work done. That's as simple as we can make it. We have the technology now where we can move, you know, 50,000 people can move $10 in an hour to one person's hands. That person now can hire a staff. Can you imagine? That person now can plan out a year, 2 years of operational budget just off of an hour interview. Can you imagine we're doing that twice a week? You know what I mean? That's the vision and the power that we have as a Lion Pride. We're 76,000 strong, approaching 77,000 strong. We're doing 100,000 views every month, over 4.5 thousand watch hours of content being watched. So the community is growing, the word is getting out there, and we have power. That's what I want to tell the family. Before we go, Empress Ima, do you have any economic ventures that you can share where people can support your works? Or we lost Empress Ima? We lost Empress Ima. Sister Scheril, same thing. Do you have any personal works? Because we want to make sure we also leave space for ones who can support their personal works as an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah, I was just say for Empress Ima, she has a brand, Herbs for Life, that she promotes. So if you follow her, Empress Ima Ethiopia on Facebook or Instagram, you can see all the different natural herbal products that she has. For me, I'm an attorney. Oh, she's back, so let her speak about
yes,
Herbs for Life.
Empress Ima, I want you to just let us know what you have, Empress Ima, how people can support you economically.
Well, how we can support ourselves. Yes.
Yeah.
So, as you had said, it's 50, this was my 50th year anniversary of when I first went to Africa, 1975. I've always been into trade and economics. I take something from one place and take it to another. So we've reached a level, give thanks to the international president and a team, teamwork, teamwork. We have a team on both sides of the water. We have a team through Habesha, that provides us with neem, moringa, baobab, spirulina, kelp, you name it. We have one called dog penis. We have all black seed, all kind of herbs. So soaps, shampoos, creams, ginger, garlic, pepper. So we're working on our webpage now, and the local. I'm in local 12, and we're producing products, different products. So I have also a herbal line of capsules. And then there's members in my local that they make roots from it. And we also infuse our products with cannabis. So we have several products. So look for Herbs for Life, the numerical number 4. And you can also Yahoo or Gmail me at Moringa Queen at yahoo.com or moringaqueen@gmail.com, and give thanks for the opportunity.
Give thanks. So make sure, and I'll put that down in the description of this video as well, so that you can click. And what we're trying to do is on all of the videos, the guest contact information is under the description. So if you go down and you see the 3 dots, you click those 3 dots underneath the YouTube video that opens up the description. All of the information for the episode is there. If you see an episode and you don't see the contact information, just shoot me a comment and we'll make sure that we get the information to the idea. This is a living archive of Rastafari people, but we want it to be an economic archive. So if you see a guest, you like what they're saying, you want to support them, you want to buy their product or service, you just go to the description, click the link, and you have the access to that guest. So we're very big on that, on economic development and circulating the Rastafari and Pan-African dollar. That's one of the roles of media. And that's how we're going to keep the circulatory system of our alternative to Babylon flowing. Sister Scheril, same question. How can people support either your product or service?
Yeah, well, I'm a lawyer, so if you need in-house counsel for any contract-related work, I'd love that type of work. I do have a rule that I don't do legal work for Federation members, just because I don't want there to be any conflicts down the road. But if you can refer me to someone, I do contracts work. I do in-house general counsel work. I also am an immigration attorney, so asylum issues, things like that, TPS questions, etc. I do that type of work. So I do lobbying, legislative work as well. So those are the main things. We do have a new T-shirt hoodie that's come out. It says the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated put the culture in agriculture. So just you can Instagram at Ethiopians World with an S, Ethiopians with an S World, or at Virtue and Victory. And then let me know if you want a hoodie or a T-shirt or a little tote bag that says the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated puts the culture in agriculture. Those are the main things. We'll have constitutions for sale tomorrow. Our Ways and Means Committee is going to have constitutions for sale. And we're also starting to get into the area of helping people who are Rastafari, Pan-African, or E.W.F members prepare for their home goings and when they're not going to be here, so that their personal archives can find the right place, so they have the right type of services. We've had a lot of broken hearts based on E.W.F members and Rastafari individuals being given services after they've been laid to rest, or as they're being laid to rest, that don't match their lifestyle. So we are guiding through our SIC committee in Local 12, where we have a 5 wishes form that helps people determine how they would like that end of life to be. So we're working on that. It's part fundraiser, but we saw a huge, glaring need in our community.
This
so our SIC committee. Thank you.
Sorry. Yes, give thanks. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
A little glitch.
The Abyssinians is serious.
a little glitch. But there you have it, family. So we have an attorney, we have a Queen Mother herbalist, both representing the Black peoples of the world. We are also here doing the work. Again, we will not be live tomorrow, but we will have a broadcast at 8 p.m. For our faithful family, the great Ras Aswad, one of the pillars of the Rastafari Council of Ghana, board member.
Great brother.
Yes, and someone that every Rastafari around the world needs to know. Solid brethren. We're gonna kick off his Lion Talk run tomorrow evening with the first clip, and we'll have other. We got some big interviews lined up, some surprises coming up in the next couple of months. So make sure you stay locked, because we will not stop. Why? Because the time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice.
This is
the Abyssinians.
The time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. This is
the Lion's Voice.
They had no fear at all. It was Ethiopian, he must not, it was not, let him be praised. Ethiopian, he must not, it was not, let him be praised.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega, representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.